So,
Great.
talking about the Source, and when I got to know you, what you did was so creative because you actually took the rappers and made them, characters.
Yeah.
How did you get into that? What inspired you? What?
Well, I tell people this. When I was in art design, probably like our junior and senior years, everybody had black books. So they would give them to each person to create art in their books. So I would turn my friends into comic characters.
Okay.
There was this one friend of mine who came to school. He put his bag down and a roach came out of his bag. So everybody started calling him Roach Master. So I just took the cover of Taskmaster with the Avengers and I changed it into Roach Master, had him holding a can of Raid. So more or less the stuff that I was doing in high school, I just did at the Source. So that's why I was like, it was no real change for me. That was my sense of humor. And they let me just be me. I knew hip hop, so I didn't have to really ask anybody any questions. I knew what I was drawing. I knew people's discography record-wise. I knew what they were about. So it was just a natural flow to me. It wasn't really me imitating anything. It was no special thought. It was my sense of humor surrounded with hip hop and comics.
It was a perfect addition to what you said the Source ended up being.
Yeah.
Because nobody had seen nothing like that before.
Nah, nobody.
And it embodied everything that we do. It was just there was sometimes seriously you be reading through and you be going through and you had to almost go to the last to see what the last word was. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I hear that now, and back then I wasn't thinking about it. I was just creating what I did and was appreciating the fact that I was, like I said, once again, drawing people who look like me. My creativity wasn't stifled. They didn't really stop my sense of humor. They started editing my sense of humor when the Source became thick like a phone book.
Yeah.
And then advertising.
It had so many ads in it. Yeah.
So they was like, I knew I had to water what I was doing a little bit down. But for the most part, the fun of it was just being me.
I would say it was something that was said before that I think it was brilliant. That it actually was done already, but not by us.
All right.
So National Lampoon,
well, Mad,
Mad Magazine was doing it. So this man here,
I'm glad you brought that up.
Was taking the page out of that and putting it in a hip hop magazine with hip hop characters. Completely, no one even saw that coming, man.
Right.
No one saw it coming, but traditionally, from Mad and National Lampoon, look what they contributed to Saturday Night Live. National Lampoon was so big that even, you had the artists and then you had the writers.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody was tearing it up, man. It was a party all the time. They go get drunk, come back, do the piece the next day, and they would just stay on top. That was like they were getting paid to live.
Yeah.
And it was like for us when we were at the Source, we were getting paid to live hip hop culture. That's the dream.
Yeah.
Most people have to, if you're a rapper or a DJ, you got to have a day job.
Right.
To support yourself until the dream takes over, and then you could, enter the, what you want to do. For us, this was the dream.
Right.
We already made it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then now we're getting paid for it?
Right,
It's over.
right.
Yeah, there was nothing better than getting paid for just being you.
Right.
Man.
You wake up in the morning just
for
being you.
years.
And getting paid.
I used to say I was the professional hip hop junkie. I was like the ultimate fan. I got to hang with, interview, go out to dinner and whatever with my favorite artists, basketball players, actresses. Yeah. I got to for the movie Why Do Fools Fall in Love, I got to interview Halle, Layla, and Vivica at the same table at the same time.
All off of hip hop.
Wow. You know what I'm saying? So now I speak about movies. I know one of the things, my favorite quote, I spoke to Prince Paul recently. I said, yo, what's going on? He said, I'm trying to stay relevant.
Yeah.
So, I guess that's something we all try to do.
Yeah.
But one of the things, may or may not know, you had a lot of appearances in a lot of movies, like Shaft, Life, and too many other ones to name.
Which is still my favorite movie. Life.
Life, yeah.
Yeah.
And rest in peace, Heavy D.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Yeah,
Bernie Mac too. Yes.
Yeah.
So talk about getting into the whole acting thing, like how you
It just from the time that we're together, we were creating our own lives for a long time. I mean, thanks to Jehovah, we were given an opportunity to bring home some money doing this. I think that's the only reason why I had my mother's support anyway, the family support, is because I was getting actually paid to do this.
Right.
If I don't get paid now, I'll still hear that I should have took a civil service job in a heartbeat. She'll turn on me, But it was because of when we were all at the source together, and you know this, that we were creating. We didn't know that because we were young. We didn't know that we were creating what the music industry was going to be for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
The departments that we had, Unsigned Hype, Graph Flicks, The Last Word. You had View from the Underground, which was also like, the original Entourage, hip hop Entourage. Right. Man, everything in that magazine was its own department and went on to become its own industry.
Right.
So just like everybody at Rush, Rush Associated Labels went on to have the key positions in the music industry for the next 10 years, like the 88 class, the 1988 class, is the same thing with the Source. All of the editors there, we all went into, everybody in music, we went into A&R. So, we started dominating labels in A&R, me, Riggs, Matty, Scott. So the film, when I got to Island Records, after signing Mobb Deep, the movie Juice was an Island movie.
Right.
So that was a real, after Crush Groove, that was our movie for our generation for the 90s. That was New York. It was a New York thing, and that's what started, New York back into films for the 90s for the next generation. And then later on, I was able to do Slam and then Light. But it really came from that, those years of experience of making things up that did not exist already. It's just like really thinking that it was possible and not asking somebody, can we do it?
Right.
We're actually doing it and having the industry come to us and be like, yo, because they were thirsty.
Right.
They're looking for a way to like market this. How can we exploit this? And we're like, yo, you could exploit it, just, we're going to get a piece of the action. And, so one thing just led to another. It was synergistic, man.
I think one of the things a lot of us and everybody that came, the hustler spirit and creating your own. Like, I mean, even what I'm doing now, this didn't exist.
Yeah.
There was no blueprint for,
black,
a black newspaper just really, and from this area, we just kept flipping it. But I was talking about hustling. I spoke to Ice-T when he first did the cop thing. And I was like, if you knew him, he hated cops. He said, yo, I'm just pimping the system. Yeah. And he been pimping the system for years.
For years.
Years,
Yeah. I mean, it's more or less just taking what you do, finding a new position for it.
Right.
Because now I'm an art teacher in Brooklyn.
Well,
you know what I mean?
So
there I get to do a couple different things. I get to show young black boys and girls a black male teacher, being positive, being truthful to them. But then I also get them to connect to my passion on art, teach them all aspects. So it's a hustle. It can be a positive hustle, but it's still expanding on what I already do. I don't necessarily tell them my history. I let them find that out as time goes through things. But it's really not letting people stop you from doing all that you can. If you're creative and you write, you draw, people want to put you in one thing. You're supposed to just do this.
Right.
So when I started writing, I was having trouble getting jobs because they said you're an artist.
Right.
So that's why I started writing on the AL Dre. So I was able to start writing for the Source, rap pages, all that type of thing. I would say once I started writing for XXL, and other people found out that Andre Leroy Davis and A.L. Dre was the same person, stuff dried up. Because they still wanted to go back to just me being able to do one thing. So nowadays, if you can do it all, just hustle all your skills.
I had that problem coming from being an artist, a recording artist. Yo, real talk, there was a lot of hate in the beginning with some of the editors at the Source. Like, they was trying not to give me work because I was still getting love as the art. Certain artists would call me on stage and stuff. So I was getting that love.
Yeah.
And I would have a hard time getting assignments sometimes.
Yeah. It's usually those people in charge who can only do one thing. Right. They want to stop you from doing all the things you can do.
And it's also, society, man. Society wants to, they gotta put a label on you. They have to, they have to identify what they don't understand.
Yeah.
You gotta at least put a name on it. And when you're still defining yourself, and you won't allow anybody to explain you except you, they get bitter about that. After a while, because it's their way of getting a piece of the action. Let us claim you, but you don't know what you're claiming.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, I just claim to be dope. That's it. It doesn't have to be one thing. I'm not just a writer. I'm not just this. I don't market myself that way. Most people that have done what we've done are living somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right.
They left Brooklyn.
Right.
They're in Hollywood somewhere. They've left Mount Vernon.
Right.
They somewhere else. I take pride in the fact that we're here.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we've done all of that. We still doing stuff, and we still tearing it up. But we want and feel that it's important to connect to the community so that people know it's like, yeah, you could be a cartoon character yourself. You could be who, what your dream is, have the hustle, have all of that, but don't let it get to your head. It's not something that you have to, it's not a thing. It's who you are. And that's the difference between like our era and this era.
Yeah.
My man Harlan Ellis said, when you're already somebody, you don't waste your time trying to be something.
Right.
You know what I mean? So we already knew we were somebody, even just to us.
Right.
We were cartoon characters. You're going to see who we are.
Right.
We're not going to run out of steam. We love doing this.
Yeah.
But today, it's like everybody has to be a part of something in order to become somebody. Right. And that's the suckers route, man. Yeah. It's, I know people, he knows people who get paid to do what we do, tons of money.
Absolutely.
But we're still better at it.
Right, absolutely.
We're still better at it in our sleep because we're the real thing.
Right.
They learn what they learn from talking to people like us. Yeah. We learned what we learned because we did it. Yeah. It's not because we spoke to anybody. So,
how'd you feel when you first started seeing like certain